We talked a lot about this story yesterday with Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher, Deion Sanders. The SEC says, we're going to reprimand you. We'll recap the day yesterday and where they go. I got the point spread for Alabama and Texas A&M. DraftKings sent me the point spread when they meet in October. Does anybody want to take a guess? Alabama's going to host Texas A&M in October. If I gave you the over-under, I'm going to give you the over-under at 12.5. 12.5. Closest to the pin eats first today. Fritzy, I'll start with you. The over-under, or I should say the point spread, Alabama is favored by how much? This according to DraftKings. October 8th, A&M plays Alabama in Tuscaloosa.
I'm going to say 6.5.
6.5. Seton O'Connor.
That was going to be my guess. I'm going to say, I'll go 7.5.
All right, Marvin.
$1. I mean, 8.5.
8.5. Paulie.
9.
Alabama is a 16.5 point favorite against
dang.
Whoa.
Dang.
It was an exciting day for college football yesterday. I don't know if it was a good day for college football. It felt like it was because you got some big personalities involved in this. Saban calls out A&M for buying recruits, and then Jimbo Fisher calls out Nick Saban. Why don't you check into his background? Fisher said Saban needs to be slapped for lying and hinting that, they have questionable track record in terms of recruiting. Fisher says check Saban. They worked together from 2000 to 2004 at LSU. He worked on his staff. Saban and the Tide don't take kindly to being disrespected. 2016, Jim Harbaugh and Saban got into that public disagreement. Remember the satellite football camps? Alabama then went on to embarrass Michigan in their next matchup. LSU, similar fate in 2020. LSU beats Alabama in 2019. Video surfaced of Ed Orgeron at LSU mocking the Tide's famous slogan. Next season, Alabama beat LSU 55-17. Texas A&M's good program. Can't be certain what will happen when they meet in October, but if history's any indication, Nick Saban may get the last word on this. But there was a lot of fallout from this yesterday. There were a lot of interesting comments about this. And I'm going to take you back to Saban and what he said. Now, I'm going to try to take this chronologically just so I can give you my thoughts on how this all unfolded. Here is Saban yesterday, or this was from Wednesday. He was in front of boosters, businessmen in Alabama, Birmingham, and had this to say about Texas A&M.
We were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and like. All right, we didn't buy one player. All right, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it.
That's the tail end of a very long answer. What Nick Saban is saying, now this is my opinion, he is saying to his boosters, we got to do what A&M is doing. We got to buy these players. I don't think he's critical of A&M. I think A&M is, they took advantage of the loophole. But I think, when this is in the room, it's about Alabama football and it's about boosters and we need to do this. And you don't say those things and think, well, it's going to get out of the building here. And then Jimbo Fisher is going to hear that. Well, Jimbo Fisher heard it and he took it personally. And he had this to say about Nick Saban.
The narcissist in him doesn't allow those things to happen, and it's ridiculous. But when he's not on top, and the parity in college football he's been talking about, go talk to coaches who coach for him. You'll find out all the parity. Go dig into wherever he's been. You can find out anything. And it's a shame that you got to sit here and defend 17-year-old kids and families. And Texas A&M, because we do things right, we're always going to do things right. But we're always going to be here.
Okay, I understand what Jimbo Fisher is saying. Because he's saying, hey, is he accusing us of doing something illegal? And buying sounds illegal. The name, image, and likeness is not illegal. And Jimbo Fisher is probably saying, look, you may not like the loophole, but we did it, and we did it better than anybody else. Nick Saban is saying to his congregation, hey, we got to do the same thing. He stopped just short of saying we need to do the same thing. If he says that, then I don't think you get Jimbo Fisher as upset as he was. But Jimbo Fisher did open up a bigger story in my mind, because all of a sudden you're going, well, wait a minute here. What's he saying about Coach Saban? You were on his staff 2000 to 2004. What exactly did you guys do? Were you part of this? Jimbo says he never lies. Well, let me ask you the question, Coach. You part of anything that was illegal? What did Coach Saban do? Did he not do it when you were there? So it felt like now all of a sudden this is open for season. Open season, I should say. He then went on to had this to say about grown men.
There are no violations. There are nothing wrong. It's the second time we've had to do this with grown men who don't get their way and want to pout, throw a fit, and act up. Just go ask all the people who work for him. You'll know exactly what he's about.
All right. Now that's where you take it. It's personal. Now it's really personal. Now it's on. This feels like there's an old beef that's there. And here is Jimbo talking about soliciting money.
And what's funny, in that talk, right before he said that about us, wasn't he soliciting funds from the crowd? It's amazing, wasn't it?
To the left,
Well,
Rob.
when you walk on water, I guess it don't matter.
In my opinion, he is saying, we need to do this. Then you bring Deion Sanders in this and saying, hey, Deion paid for this guy. And then Deion's like, no. And Deion is in a really, I thought Deion was the grown-up. When you had the last at-bats, Deion had the last at-bat. And he was saying, hey, I respect Nick Saban, but he lied. And I want to have a conversation publicly. He goes, you can't say something publicly and then you want to apologize privately. And he said, we didn't do anything wrong. And even Travis Henry, the recruit that was supposed to go to Florida State, he said, I don't know where this $1 million NIL deal is. My mom lives in a 3-bedroom house with 5 children. We don't have that money. There's a lot going on here. And Deion also said, be careful here, guys, because I've been on both sides of this. Not you guys. I've been a highly recruited player. I know that there are bag men. Like the bag is now name, image, and likeness. They just dressed it up. Like it's a Louis Vuitton bag. Used to be just a bag. Like it's as legal as marijuana, it feels like. And now you're allowed to do this. Deion's saying, be careful here, guys, because I was recruited, and I know what I was offered. And now I'm on the other side of this as a head coach. But I do believe, listening to Saban, he's saying to his boosters, we have to do the same thing. I was also told by a source yesterday, I said, give me some ideas about the money that's being thrown around. He said, if you're a 5-star quarterback, 5-star recruit, you start at 7 figures. Stat of the day. Whoa, okay. If you're a 5-star recruit as a quarterback, the starting price is $1 million. No. I was also told that there is a recruit, and I don't know if he's signed yet, and the asking price is $8 million.
Let's go.
$8 million.
Get it.
I don't know when you get it. I don't know how you get it, but that's where we are. And you have grown men acting like this. And then the grown-up in the room was Deion. He's like, nope. I still got great respect for Coach Saban, but we got to have this conversation publicly because he called me out publicly. And look, Nick Saban did walk it back. He had this to say. This is later yesterday on ESPN.
I really wasn't saying that anybody did anything illegal in using name, image, and likeness. I didn't say that. That was something that was assumed by what I said, which is not really what I meant, nor was it what I said. So there's nothing illegal about doing this. It's the system that allows you to do it, and that's the issue that I have.
I think what happened is you can be frustrated with the system, but you point out you lost out on the number one recruiting class because they bought everybody. If he said, hey, A&M used the loophole, name, image, and likeness, we need to do the same thing, I don't think Jimbo Fisher goes nuclear. But he tried to apologize to both. They didn't take his phone calls, but I do think that's a fair apology in what he's saying. I don't think he's calling out A&M as cheaters. I think he's just saying, look at what they did, and they spent all this money. We have to do the same thing. That's just my take on it. And it felt like that was Deion's take as well. Yes, Tom.
He could have avoided saying A&M altogether. I'm sure people can infer who the top recruiting class was. He could have really been extra careful by saying other schools are doing A, B, and C. Once you start mentioning specific schools, that opens up the whole deal.
I don't think this was a planned speech. I don't think he was going, hey, I got something to say, and then I'll take your questions. He was taking questions. These businessmen were asking, I think, hey, A&M, number one recruiting class. How did that happen? Yeah, Paulie.
You said a certain quarterback from high school may get $8 million.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence got $7 million his first year with the Jaguars.
Yeah. Hey, this is the price. Price that, right now, at least this year, that's what I was told yesterday. Yes, Heaton.
How many of these kids are going to take a pay cut when they go to the NFL?
I know.
That's wild.
We talked about this. Bryce Young made more money on the books last year than Jalen Hurts did with the Eagles.
It's amazing. This is what's going on. And once again, that's my source telling me that this is a big-time recruit. And he heard that the asking price was $8 million. Yeah, Marv.
They're doing the right thing because, look, most of these college stadiums are bigger than NFL stadiums. So it just sounds about right. NFL stadiums, 70, 80,000. SEC stadiums, 110,
Yeah.
148,000 million.
148,000 million?
Oh, I'm sorry. Just like 100,000, sorry.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Paul.
But if you look at, and I don't know what team you were talking about there or what quarterback you're talking about there with the $8 million, if that guy works out, it's worth it. If you look, and I'm not accusing anybody of anything, how did Cam Newton work out for Auburn athletics? And there's a lot of rumors about what he did or did not get to go there. There's no proof, but they were the winners, and that's back when it was not legal. Now that it's legal, it's worth it.
We reached out to everybody here. We also reached out to Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin was going to come on, but the commissioner of the SEC asked him not to comment on Nick Saban, Jimbo Fisher situation. I think all the coaches. I like how the SEC, the commissioner, Greg Sankey, he reprimanded Nick Saban and Jimbo Fisher.
Publicly.
Yeah, of course. Do you think that out of all of this, and then Nick Saban goes, yeah, I got reprimanded too.
What the commissioner said?
Yeah. I got.
Oh, man. Might have really crossed the line now.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. You got reprimanded. But Lane Kiffin was going to join us, but the commissioner said he's not allowed to.